They say growing older is a gift, but it's also a responsibility, not just to ourselves, but to the people who love us, our children, our spouses, our lifelong friends. That's why what I'm about to share with you could be one of the most important conversations of your life. Each year, thousands of seniors pass away silently in their sleep. And while that might sound like the most peaceful way to go, some of those deaths didn't have to happen. The tragedy? Many of them were triggered by something as innocent as a late-night snack. Let me explain. Just a few months ago, Walter, a 78-year-old grandfather from Michigan, was living what most would call the golden years. He was active, full of energy, and took pride in his health. Each morning, he walked 2 miles around his neighborhood. He played chess with his grandson every Sunday. His doctors praised his checkups. But Walter had one habit he never thought twice about: a small, familiar snack he enjoyed each night while watching the news. Something simple, something he'd been doing for years. Until one morning, he didn't wake up. When his daughter found him, the family was devastated. The cause? A sudden heart attack during the night. The autopsy showed a dangerous storm had been building quietly inside his body, triggered by the very snack he had trusted. You see, after the age of 65, our bodies respond differently. What once was harmless can now put tremendous strain on the heart, lungs, and blood vessels, especially during sleep, when our systems slow down and become more vulnerable. This video isn't about fear. It's about freedom through knowledge. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 8 common bedtime foods, the ones sitting in your kitchen right now, that could be silently compromising your heart health and stealing years off your life. One of them, food number 3, has been directly linked to fatal nighttime heart attacks. But I promise, this won't be a lecture. I'll share real stories, simple science, and easy swaps you can make tonight. Not next week, not next year, but right now, to protect your body and your peace of mind. Because aging doesn't mean giving up the foods we love. It just means learning how to love ourselves a little smarter. Are you ready? Let's begin. Segment 1, the silent trap in your favorite snack: processed cheese. It starts as something small, a little comfort before bed. Maybe a couple of crackers, a slice of your favorite cheese, a quiet indulgence. Nothing fancy, nothing sinful, just a habit. But what if that very snack is slowly putting pressure on your heart in ways you can't feel? Until it's too late. Let me tell you about Ellen. She's a 67-year-old retired librarian from Oregon. Sharp as a tack. Always kept her blood pressure in check. She walked every morning, read nutrition labels, stayed involved in her community. But she had one bedtime routine she loved: a plate of crackers and processed cheese while she read in her recliner each night. Then the episodes began. Sudden breathlessness at 2 a.m. Her heart would pound like she'd just run a marathon. Her chest felt tight. It happened more than once, and always in the middle of the night. Her doctors couldn't figure it out, until one asked, "What do you eat before bed?" That simple question uncovered a serious risk. The processed cheese she'd been eating, the kind that comes pre-sliced or wrapped in plastic, was full of sodium and saturated fats. In seniors, those ingredients don't just raise blood pressure. They can cause fluid to build up around the lungs and heart while you sleep. Cardiologists have long warned that after age 65, our bodies process salt and fat differently, especially at night. Blood pressure regulation slows. Circulation becomes more fragile. That bedtime snack, once harmless, becomes a trigger for potentially deadly strain on the cardiovascular system. Dr. Richard Stein, a cardiologist with over 30 years of experience, explains it clearly. Processed cheeses combine 2 of the worst things for nighttime health: salt and fat, in a form the body struggles to manage when it's most vulnerable. But here's the good news. You don't need to give up flavor or comfort. You just need to swap smart. Instead of processed cheese, try a small handful of unsalted almonds, or a slice of fresh, low-sodium mozzarella if you still want a touch of dairy. Even a spoonful of hummus on whole grain toast can satisfy the same craving without putting your heart under siege. Ellen made the change, and in just a week, those scary midnight episodes stopped. No more panicked awakenings, No more guessing games. Sometimes the difference between waking up and not waking up is as simple as what you eat before bed. Segment 2. Sweet dreams, not if sugar's involved. There's something comforting about a little sweetness before bed. A cookie with tea, a bowl of cereal that reminds you of childhood. It feels harmless, even nostalgic. But for seniors, that innocent treat could be quietly turning into a nighttime health hazard. Raymond, a 71-year-old retiree from Florida, didn't think twice about his evening snack. He had a routine: brush his teeth, change into pajamas, pour a bowl of honey cereal, and settle in with the late-night news. He wasn't diabetic, had no history of heart problems, and felt pretty good overall. But around 3 a.m., he began waking up in a cold sweat, heart pounding. Sometimes it felt like his chest was tightening. Other nights he felt dizzy, weak, like his body was running out of fuel. At first, doctors suspected sleep apnea or anxiety, but after wearing a continuous glucose monitor, the truth came out. That sugary cereal was causing his blood sugar to spike sharply within an hour of eating it, then crash dangerously low while he was in deep sleep. The swings were extreme, and for someone over 65, they were downright dangerous. The Mayo Clinic Sleep Center has confirmed what many don't realize. Eating sugar before bed causes unstable glucose levels. In younger bodies, these spikes and crashes are buffered. But in seniors, they can trigger heart palpitations, arrhythmias, and even stroke-like symptoms during the most vulnerable hours of the night. Dr. Verena Summers, a sleep and metabolic health specialist, put it simply: late-night sugar causes the body to fight for balance during a time it's supposed to be resting. For older adults, that added stress can be the tipping point for a cardiac event. And it's not just cereal. Cookies, sweetened yogurts, even some healthy granola bars pack enough sugar to wreak havoc while you sleep. So what can you do instead? Raymond's doctor suggested a new bedtime habit: a small apple paired with a teaspoon of almond butter. It was sweet, yes, but the natural fiber and healthy fat gave his body stable energy without the roller coaster. Within a week, his glucose readings smoothed out. No more 3 a.m. panic. No more lying awake with a racing heart. You don't have to give up sweetness forever. You just need to rethink when and how you enjoy it. Because your heart doesn't clock out at bedtime. And every snack is a chance to support or strain the rhythm that keeps you alive. Ask yourself this, gently but honestly: is that cookie worth the risk of not waking up? Raymond knows his answer. What's yours? Segment 3. The meat that stole his last good night. You'd never think a few slices of deli meat could change the course of someone's life. After all, how many of us have had salami or a little ham on crackers late at night without a second thought? That's exactly what Thomas believed. Thomas was 78, a retired bus driver from Pennsylvania. Everyone in his family said the same thing. He was strong, dependable, and full of life. He had a routine. Every night around 10:30, he'd make a little snack plate, some salami, a few crackers, maybe a pickle or two. He called it his midnight peace. But one morning, Thomas didn't wake up. His wife, heartbroken and confused, called 911. The autopsy revealed something shocking: elevated nitrate levels in his bloodstream, caused by years of processed meat consumption, and a sudden cardiovascular reaction that led to a fatal heart attack in his sleep. What most people don't know is this: processed meats like salami, bacon, and hot dogs are full of nitrates and preservatives that, once inside the body, can transform into nitrosamines, compounds known to increase inflammation and oxidative stress on your cardiovascular system. And these effects peak while you sleep, when your heart is supposed to be resting and recovering. Dr. Michael Miller, a preventive cardiologist at the University of Maryland, explains, processed meats ignite a storm inside the body. They inflame blood vessels, disrupt natural rhythms, and over time, create the perfect conditions for cardiac events, especially at night when the body is less resilient. The danger is invisible. You won't feel it right away. But night after night, bite after bite, these meats chip away at the balance your heart depends on. And let's be honest, for many older adults, these foods are easy. They're familiar, convenient. They taste good. But what's the cost of that convenience? Thomas's family wishes they'd known earlier. Wishes someone had told them that his beloved salami snack, something so ordinary, was not safe for a man his age, especially not at night. But there is a better way. If you're craving protein before bed, switch to something clean and gentle on your system. A small portion of plain baked chicken, a hard-boiled egg, or even unsweetened Greek yogurt if dairy sits well with you. These options nourish without the hidden chemicals or the cardiac strain. The truth is, you deserve to enjoy your evenings, but you also deserve to wake up the next morning. So open your fridge tonight, look at what's in there, and ask yourself, is this snack feeding your peace or quietly stealing it? Segment 4. The heat that burns after midnight. For many of us, food isn't just about nourishment, it's about memory. The way mom's chili made the kitchen smell in winter, or how a dash of hot sauce added joy to a bland meal. Spicy food makes us feel alive, but as we age, what warms the tongue can overwhelm the heart, especially at night. Patricia, a 68-year-old widow from Arizona, loved bold flavors. Her favorite comfort meal? Spicy beef tacos with extra jalapenos. It reminded her of her younger days traveling through the Southwest with her late husband. That night, after a long day, she made her usual plate, ate around 8:30 p.m., and headed to bed with a full belly and a warm smile. At 2 a.m., she woke up gasping, clutching her chest, drenched in sweat. She thought it was a heart attack. Her husband had passed that way. Was this her time too? The paramedics arrived. Fortunately, Patricia survived. It turned out to be severe acid reflux, but her doctor warned her that the inflammation caused by spicy food could eventually trigger a real cardiac event, especially during the most vulnerable sleep hours. Here's what happens. Spicy foods activate the vagus nerve, which connects the brain to the heart and digestive system. In younger bodies, it can handle that stimulus, but in seniors, that stimulation, combined with lying down, can mimic or even trigger heart-related symptoms. Reflux climbs higher, chest pressure builds, breathing becomes shallow, and for someone with a sensitive or aging heart, that's a recipe for disaster. Dr. Anil Ruski, a gastroenterologist at Columbia University, describes it this way. When spicy foods inflame the esophagus and digestive tract, the body responds with stress. At night, lying down allows acid to rise and pressure to build, which can strain the heart and cause symptoms that are hard to distinguish from a heart attack. The kicker? Many seniors don't realize what's happening. They wake up with pain or shortness of breath and assume it's anxiety or aging. But it could be their dinner, fighting them in their sleep. That doesn't mean you have to eat bland food forever. If you love flavor, there are ways to keep the joy without the risk. Swap chili peppers for gentle herbs like oregano, thyme, or basil. Use garlic, lemon, or turmeric for natural depth without triggering reflux. And always aim to finish your last spicy meal at least 3 hours before bedtime. As for Patricia, she still cooks. She still enjoys food, but now she chooses warmth over fire and peace over pressure. She hasn't had a scary night since, because flavor should lift your spirits, not make your heart race in the dark. So tonight, take a second look at that hot sauce bottle. Ask yourself, is it really worth waking up in a panic? Or would you rather drift off, safe, settled, and ready to enjoy tomorrow? Segment 5. The nightcap that could cut the night short. A glass of wine, a small pour of whiskey, a quiet ritual to unwind at the end of the day. For many, that evening drink feels like a friend. Soothing, familiar, even a reward for making it through another long day. But for seniors, what seems relaxing could quietly be pulling the rug out from under your heart. Howard, a 73-year-old retired accountant from Ohio, had always been a light drinker. Nothing excessive, just 2 glasses of red wine most evenings, often while listening to jazz and reminiscing about his younger years. He slept well, or so he thought. But as time passed, his wife began to notice something. He'd snore louder than before. Sometimes he'd stop breathing for short moments. Some nights he'd wake up groggy and disoriented, as if he hadn't slept at all. Then came the chest tightness, the fatigue, the slow heartbeat during the day. At his doctor's suggestion, Howard agreed to a sleep study. The results were startling. On nights when he drank, his oxygen levels dropped dangerously low, dozens of times an hour. His heart was struggling, quietly but constantly. You see, alcohol may feel like a sedative, but it relaxes the muscles in your throat, increasing the risk of sleep apnea, a condition where breathing repeatedly stops during sleep. In seniors, this isn't just disruptive, it's potentially fatal. Low oxygen during deep sleep forces the heart to work harder, raising the risk of arrhythmias, strokes, or even heart attacks. Dr. Rafael Pilo, a sleep specialist at Stanford University, explains, alcohol doesn't help you sleep. It paralyzes part of the system that keeps your breathing steady. For seniors, this can mean frequent oxygen dips that the heart simply isn't equipped to handle anymore. Howard had no idea. No one had ever told him his peaceful wine ritual was slowly putting strain on his heart, night after night. He didn't need to give up everything, just trade one ritual for another. Now instead of wine, Howard drinks chamomile tea with a slice of orange peel, or sometimes tart cherry juice, both known to support natural sleep and reduce inflammation. He still listens to jazz, he still reflects on his day, but he wakes up refreshed, with a stronger heart and a clear mind. If alcohol is part of your nightly wind down, you don't need to feel shame. But it's worth asking, is that drink helping you rest or slowly wearing you down? There are gentler ways to relax, and your heart, that brave muscle that's gotten you this far, deserves a little less work while you sleep. Tonight, maybe skip the nightcap. Choose rest, real rest, the kind that gives you more tomorrows. Segment 6, the hidden buzz that keeps your heart awake. We often think of caffeine as a morning companion, a hot cup of coffee as the sun rises, a piece of dark chocolate with lunch. But many seniors enjoy a little treat after dinner, a small square of chocolate, a decaf coffee, maybe even a cola with a late meal. The problem? Even if your eyes close, your heart might still be wide awake. Meredith, a 70-year-old retired piano teacher from Washington State, began noticing something strange. Most nights, she'd fall asleep without trouble, but around 2 or 3 a.m., she'd jolt awake. Her heart would be racing, her chest felt tight, and a sense of restlessness would wash over her. She thought it was stress, maybe dreams, maybe just age. It wasn't. After tracking her habits more closely, her doctor asked a simple question. "Are you having any caffeine in the evenings?" She paused. "Only a little dark chocolate. 2 squares. That's hardly anything, right?" Turns out it was more than enough. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 7 hours, which means if you have it at 6 p.m., half of it is still active in your system at midnight. And the older we get, the longer it takes for our bodies to metabolize it. That small amount of caffeine, even from chocolate or decaf coffee, was increasing her nighttime blood pressure and heart rate variability. In someone her age, that meant her heart wasn't truly resting, even while she slept. Dr. Charles Chisler, chief of sleep medicine at Brigham and Women's Hospital, explains, caffeine late in the day doesn't just affect sleep quality, it creates an internal alert state that can place strain on an aging heart, especially during deep sleep when the body's supposed to be healing. Meredith had no idea her heart was being pulled in 2 directions, trying to rest, but also trying to respond to a stimulant still lingering in her bloodstream. Once she cut out the chocolate after dinner and switched to herbal tea, her symptoms vanished. No more 3 a.m. wake-ups, no more racing pulse, just calm, uninterrupted sleep. And here's something many don't realize. Caffeine doesn't only come from coffee. It hides in chocolate, black and green teas, certain medications, decaf products, which still contain trace amounts. If you're craving a little something at night, try a sliced banana, which contains magnesium and tryptophan to promote sleep, a warm cup of chamomile or peppermint tea, or a rice cake with almond butter for gentle, steady energy. Because sleep isn't just about hours, it's about how safely your heart travels through the night. So tonight, when you reach for that sweet little square or warm cup, just pause, ask yourself, will this help me rest, or will it keep something inside me buzzing long after I've gone to bed? The choice is simple, and your heart, like you, deserves peace. Segment 7. The crispy crunch that could break your heart. There's something undeniably satisfying about fried food. That golden crunch, the comforting smell of something familiar sizzling on the stove. For many of us, it's more than food. It's memory, family, tradition. But for your heart, especially after age 65, that crispy bite may come with a cost too high to justify. Let me introduce you to Gregory, a 69-year-old retired mechanic from Texas. A big man with a big laugh, Gregory always said, "If it's not fried, it's not finished." Friday nights were his favorite. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and a football game on TV. He never had a heart problem in his life. His cholesterol was borderline but manageable. He felt fine. Until one night, hours after his usual fried dinner, Gregory's wife found him slumped over in his recliner, struggling to breathe, pale and clammy. She called 911. He had suffered a midnight heart attack, one that nearly took his life. In the hospital, doctors found no major blockages, but what they did see was inflammation. Elevated markers in his blood, the kind that spike when the body is under stress. And when they dug deeper, the link was clear. Fried, high-fat foods consumed late in the evening were triggering inflammation during sleep, exactly when his body was supposed to be recovering. Dr. Stephen Neeson, chair of cardiovascular medicine at Cleveland Clinic, explains, fried foods are rich in unstable fats that spark an inflammatory response in the body. For seniors, this inflammation can peak during the quiet hours of the night, when the body is least equipped to defend itself. That inflammation puts extra pressure on the arteries. It can lead to plaque rupture, irregular heartbeats, or a sudden cardiovascular event, all while you're sound asleep. Gregory was lucky, he survived, but he had to rethink everything. Now, instead of fried chicken, he bakes it with herbs and olive oil. Instead of greasy fries, he opts for air-popped popcorn or roasted sweet potatoes. The truth is, it's not about giving up the foods you love. It's about finding a safer, smarter way to enjoy them. Try these instead. Baked or grilled versions of your favorite meals. Air fryer alternatives with minimal oil. Crunchy roasted chickpeas or unsalted popcorn for texture. Because that crispy texture isn't worth losing years of your life or the chance to wake up tomorrow and hug the people who love you. Fried food might warm your soul, but it shouldn't threaten your heart. So the next time you smell that sizzle, pause. Ask yourself, is this taste worth trading a night of peace or a future moment with your grandchild? Gregory found a better way. You can too. Segment 8, the snack that sneaks up on your heart. It's late. The house is quiet. You're not exactly hungry, but you want something. A little crunch, a little salt. So you reach for what's easy, maybe a handful of crackers, a bag of chips, or some pretzels from the pantry. It feels harmless, comforting even. But that midnight snack may be quietly setting the stage for a dangerous health crisis while you sleep. Deborah, a 75-year-old grandmother from Illinois, thought she was doing everything right. She walked daily. She kept up with her checkups. She even cut back on sugar years ago. But there was one thing she held on to: her favorite packaged snack crackers, every night before bed. When her doctor suggested a wearable blood pressure monitor to track her overnight readings, Deborah was shocked by the results. Between 2 and 4 a.m., her blood pressure spiked, dangerously. These weren't mild elevations. They were stroke-level surges, happening when her body should have been in its deepest, most restorative rest. The culprit? Sodium? Many packaged snacks, crackers, chips, popcorn, even some so-called healthy options, are loaded with hidden salt. And for seniors, eating those within a few hours of bedtime can disrupt natural blood pressure control, leading to silent but serious cardiovascular risks during the night. Dr. Wilbert Aronow, a geriatric cardiologist and professor of medicine, puts it simply: nighttime is already the most unstable period for blood pressure in older adults. Adding a sodium load before bed is like pouring gasoline on a fire. You may not feel it until something critical happens. The danger isn't just the salt itself, it's the timing and the fact that many of these snacks don't feel like real meals, so they slip under the radar. But your heart still has to process them. And at night, when your blood vessels are supposed to relax and repair, that extra sodium tells your system to stay tense, stay alert, and that puts strain on every part of your cardiovascular function. Deborah made a small but powerful change. She swapped her nightly crackers for cucumber slices with hummus, or a small bowl of unsalted popcorn with a dash of cinnamon. It satisfied her cravings, without risking her life. Within a week, her blood pressure readings evened out. She felt more rested, more in control. You don't have to give up evening snacking altogether. You just need to be more intentional. Look for low or no sodium options. Choose fresh, hydrating foods like veggies or fruit. Make sure any evening snack happens at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Convenience is nice, but your heart deserves better than easy. So before you grab that shiny bag from the pantry tonight, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this snack helping my body rest or forcing it to fight? Deborah found her peace. Now it's your turn. It's not too late to wake up to a better tomorrow. You've heard the stories. Walter, who thought his nightly snack was harmless. Ellen, who never connected her breathless nights to a slice of cheese. Thomas, who simply enjoyed a few pieces of salami until he didn't wake up. Raymond, Patricia, Gregory, Meredith, Deborah. All different stories, one shared truth. What we eat before bed matters, especially after 65. You don't need a medical degree to protect your heart. You don't need to give up everything you love. You just need to know what your body needs now, not what it needed 20 years ago. And that starts tonight, because while aging brings changes in energy, digestion, sleep, it also brings wisdom, courage, and the power to choose differently. You've earned that. You deserve to sleep peacefully and wake up strong, rested, and ready for the day. So here's what you can do. Swap out the processed meats, sugary cereals, and salty snacks for nourishing, heart-friendly alternatives. Stop letting midnight cravings make long-term decisions for you. And most of all, share this knowledge. Someone you love may be making the same mistake Walter did, and they don't even know it. Don't let them find out too late. If this video helped you, take one more step. Click the like button. It helps others find this message. Leave a comment. Tell us what change you'll make starting tonight. And please share this with someone over 65 you care about. A neighbor, a parent, a friend, a spouse. It could literally save their life, because the quietest choices, the snacks, the habits, the routines, often speak the loudest. Tonight, let your choices say, I want to be here tomorrow, and the day after that. Sleep well, wake strong, stay with us. We've still got more life to live, and now more reasons to protect it.